we've seen the debt ceiling go up, and that's a big positive, and that's where markets are actually pushing in terms of the direction. So President Joe Biden's signature of the legislation suspending the federal debt ceiling has given the Treasury Department the green light to resume net new debt issuances after almost a month of disruption. After nail-biting negotiations, both the Senate as well as the House of Representatives passed a bill this week that suspends last week, that suspends the government's $31.5 trillion debt ceiling.
And shifting focus to some important macro cues, the US economy continued to crank out jobs in May, with non-farm payrolls surging more than expected despite multiple headwinds. Payrolls in the public and private sector increased by 339,000 for the month, better than the 190,000 Dow Jones estimate, and it marked the 29th straight month of positive jobs growth.
Right. And keeping our focus on the macros, right, you have equities to commodities. OPEC Plus and allies have kept the planned production cuts for the year unchanged. This as well as Saudi Arabia announcing a further voluntary cut. OPEC Plus also announced that it will limit the combined oil production to 40.46 million barrels per day over the January to December 2024 period. Meanwhile, Riyadh will implement an additional voluntary 1 million barrel per day cut starting this July. So a month to go for that, but a 1 month cut in terms of the oil production.
And JP Morgan raises its 2024 growth forecast for India marginally from 5% to 5.5%. This comes after the latest GDP data shows that the Indian economy accelerated 6.1% in January to March quarter. However, it still remains cautious on the country's growth prospects for next year.
Right, and sources suggest that Airbus is closing in on a record deal to sell 500 narrow-body jets to India's budget carrier Indigo. The European plane maker has emerged as the front-runner for an order eclipsing Air India's historic provisional purchase of 470 jets in February. Airbus and Boeing are also competing in talks to sell 25 wide-body jets to Indigo.